YouTube, we are back on BleacherReport.com to react to the prospects of the 2025 NBA draft. And people are saying, this is the deepest draft in a long time. And so I want to check that out for myself. I know nothing about these prospects personally. I don't watch college basketball. I don't pay attention to it. I want to learn with you guys throughout this video. So what we're going to do, just like in part one, which by the way, link will be down in the description to that. If you haven't seen that video, I highly recommend it. It's very relevant to this video. But what we're going to do is react to who Bleacher Report has ranked 6 through 10 in terms of prospects for the 2025 draft. We're going to go over their summary here, their pro comparisons, all this stuff for each player. And then I'm going to watch, some of their highlights from this season in college or wherever they may be playing to get kind of a understanding of their games and just, react to it and give my thoughts on it. Now, I'm very excited personally. I learned a lot from part one of this video where we reacted to prospects 1 through 5. And I feel like I have kind of an understanding of all those players. And so I'm excited to get into kind of the deeper portions of the first round. Obviously, this is part 2. We won't really be going deep until hopefully part 3 or part 4, but you guys hit the like goal for part 1, which was 30 likes, and I'm going to set the very same like goal for this video. If we break 30 likes on this video, I will do a part 3 to this series where I will react to prospects 11 through 15. So please drop a like if you guys do enjoy this video, and we could keep going until we hit 60, hopefully, right? But I really appreciate you guys for breaking the like goal. Seemed like you guys did enjoy it, so I know I did, and we're back on it. So like I said, 30 likes for part 3. I'll drop it as soon as I can. I really want to continue this series, but only if you guys want to see it. Also, side note, as I mentioned, I'm a total noob when it comes to this stuff, college prospects and stuff. We cover NBA content on this channel, and so I really don't get to know players until they reach the NBA. So if you have any information on these prospects that I might miss throughout this video, the ones in particular that we're talking about, any insight, or you watch, their game and stuff like that, you have any intel on them, please let me know down in the comment section. I love the feedback. I love learning from you guys as well as, the stuff we cover in this video. So this is gonna be a learning experience. I'm excited to get into it, and we're starting with number 6, maybe to the Detroit Pistons, Kon Knueppel, or is it Knueppel? It's probably Knueppel, right? So Kon Knueppel out of Duke is a small forward, 6'6", 19 years old, 217 pounds, and his pro comparison is Wally Szczerbiak. And so I'm guessing just from all that context and his pro comparison being Wally Szczerbiak, he is probably a shooter. Now we're gonna read this little explanation here so I can get a little bit of info on him and for all the prospects, and then we're going to react to his highlights, which I'm excited for. So let's read this here, and it says, even with Tyrese Proctor and Caleb Foster back, I'm guessing those are Duke prospects as well and Duke players, and Duke adding projected number 1 pick Cooper Flag, 100% Cooper rules. Kon Knueppel is too polished of a scorer to take a back seat. So scorer is a word I'd like to highlight here. It appears he's more of a scorer than just a shooter, which is good info. With a highly convincing shooting stroke, physical drives, and mid-range shot making versatility, his game is built for off-ball spot-up scoring that scouts should deem translatable. Now, this is a very important thing for every team to have, right? An off-ball shooter / scorer. You really need those types of players. Think about guys like Michael Porter Jr. for the Denver Nuggets. He comes to mind in this regard. You think about guys like Keegan Murray for the Sacramento Kings, or even Klay Thompson for the Dallas Mavericks now. These players are very incredibly valuable to contenders. And so I like this kind of description here already as a 6th ranked prospect. Given how sharp he is around the perimeter and how competitive he can look defensively, the athletic limitations shouldn't set off alarms. Now, obviously that's going to be something to note, right? Athletic limitations, but they're saying he's so skilled and polished offensively and, competitive defensively. So he'll really commit to that end of the floor, try his best. That's very important. It's not just about your physical traits. At the end of the day, you gotta want to translate that into good defense. And so it appears he will compete defensively, which is a really good sign, even if he doesn't have all the intangibles. Knueppel has scouts talking after Duke's exhibition games. Level of shot making skill, fundamentally sound shot prep, and clear passing IQ have created obvious pro vibes early. Okay, so passing IQ, that's something interesting. Another good trait for an off-ball player. You have to be able to make quick decisions if you're not a player that's going to have the ball in their hands too much as an offensive player. I like that about him if it is true. With strong 6'7" size, highly convincing shooting, and various other ways to drive, finish plays inside the arc, he looks ready to lead the Blue Devils in scoring, at least at different points throughout the season. So he can score in volume. Okay, that's pretty good. Despite clear athletic limitations, which we already kind of talked about, he still has a chance to turn scouts into believers over his defense based on his strength, competitiveness, and IQ. So it appears he's a strong kid who plays smart and plays hard. Knueppel is going to look extremely adaptable to NBA teams with pro-ready jump shot, ability to be used in different spots, actions off the ball. So I already like everything I'm reading here. I like these kind of players that you might say at 6, well, you want someone that can be a star and that can lead an offense. Not necessarily. I mean, if you have a surefire kind of polished offensive player that can step in like right away and help your team off the ball with shooting and, you know, offensive IQ. And like it says here, that a coach can put in multiple positions here, competes on defense. I mean, these people are very, you know, coveted. And so it totally makes sense why he'd be 6. Now, with all that being said, those things are important. So he's got to be able to shoot, and he's got to be able to do all the things they're saying. But let's check out his highlights to see if the game backs up this, you know, explanation here for Kon Knueppel. All right, so this is the game against Maine here, and we already actually watched 2 of these players from the top 5, Maluak and Cooper Flag, and so now we're going to check out Kon Knueppel. This is a very reacted to game so far, but let's check out, I believe he's number 7 down here in the corner. As an off-ball shooter, that's really where you're going to be a lot of times, and so let's, you know, kind of react to some of these highlights here. I'm excited to see his game. Okay, so he's... Okay, nice move there. Good finish. That's a smooth finish. Again, when you're an off-ball scorer, we talked about this a lot in part 1 with BJ Edgecombe, who appears to be another guy that's going to, you know, be an off-the-ball kind of offensive weapon here. It is very important that you're able to make quick decisions with the basketball in a situation like this, where, you know, Knueppel basically breaks down the defender in basically one dribble, makes one move to the basket, and scores. Now, you're not going to have all this time to create your own shot when you're this type of player. You have to take advantage of your opportunities, and it appears that he did that here very well. And I like the decisiveness. I like the smooth way he operated through the traffic here in the paint and finished with his right hand. I really like this play. So see how he just, you know, makes one little move with the ball, really just takes one dribble with the basketball, and, you know, goes up strong with his right. Really solid move. Really, that's an NBA kind of move right there, and an NBA kind of decision, right? And again, I will say, you know, highlights, you know, these are not the best ways to judge a player or scout a player, right? These are the highlights. So I get all that, and just keep that in the back of your mind. You know, I will as well. This does not paint the full picture of the player, but, you know, it is a good way to kind of grasp a little bit of their games. Okay, so you pronounce it Knueppel. All right, so that's good information. I was saying Knueppel or Knueppel. It is Knueppel. Nice fight. That's just great work ethic right there. And a strong finish through the contact there. He didn't get the call, but watch this. This player takes a 3. Knueppel in the corner here on the left hand is going to fight for position for this offensive rebound while the ball's in the air. So that's a great trait for an off-ball role player as well. This is just smart basketball here, and honestly hard work, and the kind of thing, you know, scouts are going to love, right? So watch this. He's already fighting for position here. Defender actually notices and doesn't let him sneak by here on the baseline, which is a good thing, but he fights around this, you know, just stays in the play, right? Shows some fight, shows some effort, and just stays in the play. Still got his eye on the ball after it appears the other team has the rebound. Takes it away. You know, this is the kind of stuff, you know, just staying in the play at all times. This is good effort here, and it just, you know, creating another possession for Duke in this situation. Gets the loose ball here and, you know, looks to drive and score. He has his head up looking for teammates, but ultimately decides to, you know, take it up and finish through contact, which again, he didn't get the call, but man, I really like that play. That's a really good role player type of play that I think is another thing that just translates well. I mean, it's not always going to work out like this in every situation, but the fact that he's showing that he, you know, has the ability to do stuff like this, impact the game without seeing the basketball on this possession, you know, from his teammates, just finds a way to, you know, make his mark on the game here. And it's a really strong finish as well. He does appear to be a strong kid. And let's watch this finish here. Yeah, goes into the body, absorbs the contact, finishes strong with really both hands. And even, you know, he appears to be a dog. Even as his own shots going up, he's still looking for the, you know, rebound if it misses. This is just a relentless type of role player, you know, so far that I'm seeing that you definitely would want on your team. So he's, you know, down here in the corner again, Cooper Flag. Moves well off the ball, understands this is probably a design play here, but off ball screen, gets the basketball right here, running around the screen, ready to shoot, you know, decisive, confident type of play here. And that's a smooth stroke, man. That's a pure stroke. Let's watch this again. So he comes around the screen, ready to shoot, looking for the basketball. It's probably a design play, so he might have known he was getting it. You know, finds the open space here, squares up. Just a great shot, very fundamentally sound game and application of technique on this player. You know, these are the kinds of plays that he's going to have in the NBA. It might not be designed like that for him, but when you're an off-ball role player, you're going to have to, you know, learn where should I be in any area of the floor when my teammates have the ball in their hand and I'm trying to fight for, you know, open space and, you know, ultimately get an open look or just provide spacing for my teammates with that, you know, shooting gravity, navigating off-ball screens, right? Like finding ways to make defenders move. I mean, this this is just a really good offensive play here. So this is on defense here. Certainly looks engaged. Now he's running the break here, gets the loose ball, pulls up, no hesitation. That's really great confidence there. He understands, probably has some rebounders in the vicinity. Here's Cooper Flag, his power forward. I would imagine this is the 5-man, who's going to be going for this rebound here. Ball's already in the air, so they might be a little late, but, just a good understanding of the situation. He's not just pulling this for no reason. He understands there's rebounders in the vicinity, and he has great shooting ability, right? So he has the confidence. Wow, and he got fouled. Okay, that's a great play. I mean, again, staying with the play, running the break, looking for his opportunity, takes it, no hesitation, makes the shot obviously smooth and soft touch on his jump shot there. I like him. I like him a lot. I'm very impressed. This guy's gonna make a good off-ball role player if he continues to play like this, right? Wow, nice understanding of the type of situation he's in right here. So watch this, receives the ball on the wing here, makes a little jab step, waits for the screen. This player actually does a, slip ghost screen, right? And a smart play by this player as well. But Knueppel understands this, and, he draws 2 defenders, and now he's gonna, you might say, well, just pass it right there, right? Like, you got 2 defenders on you. You're not necessarily a point guard. Just pass that ball right away. He draws them into a position on the left hand here where there is absolutely zero chance if this player shoots quickly, they can, make an effective closeout, and he's gonna get an open 3. It's just a very good understanding of the draw and kick, right? And so he's purposely taking an extra dribble or 2 here to draw them even further away from his teammate so that he can get him an open look. And he uses his body to kind of go in front of this guy. He's just a smart IQ player, and he makes a shot here wide open. As I predicted, they weren't able to get in position, but he's just a really smart, high IQ player. And I think Bleacher Report was totally on the money with that regard, because I'm seeing a lot of really high IQ off-ball plays and on-ball plays as well. But man, he just uses his positioning really well. Again, this is the type of player that every team is looking for, right? And so he's coming off a screen right here, probably going to fire this one away. No, okay, another screen with his, going to drive left a little bit, draws 2 defenders, draws the double. This is going to be a pass to Malawak, I would imagine. Yep. It's just a great draw, great understanding of, the pick and roll and the situation he was in. Great pass. He gets it over those 2 defenders there. Notices the double right away. He doesn't wait, doesn't hesitate. We haven't seen one hesitation from him at all in these highlights. And so I know this is one game, this is a few highlights, but I can see it 100%. I can see everything BR was talking about in their article here, because every single play he's made really good decisions and seems to be putting himself in the right positions with his mind, right? Like, it's not always just physical. He is a smart player. And, if that shooting stroke is as consistent as they're saying, I mean, there is no chance this guy shouldn't be a lottery pick. I mean, he's absolutely incredible off the ball. And a team like, let's say, Washington, right? Like, somebody who already has kind of their lead ball handler established. And you think about even Detroit, like they're saying he's mocked to with Cade Cunningham. Like, they already have their top scorer and their number 1 option sorted out, and so they can really afford to make a high draft pick of an off-ball role player if he's going to be that good, which I do think, just from these few plays that he probably will be. It's an excellent pick. Even towards the top 5 like he is here, 6, I think makes a lot of sense if you already have your scoring options sorted out. And so now it's time to complement them with off-ball role players. And I really like, Knueppel. He feels like he would be a really good Golden State Warrior. He just has that total off-ball IQ, movement, positioning type of, shooting stroke as well. Like, he would be a lot of fun in that system, but I don't think they're going to have that pick, unfortunately. But yeah, again, another smart play here. So here's Cooper Flag going to make this drive. We already saw this play in Cooper Flag's highlight reel, which was a great play by him. Great pass. And he's just, ready to shoot in this corner here. Gets it off quickly and hits the shot. Again, when a player like this, it's easy to fall asleep off the ball, as a shooter. You see it a lot in the NBA. Players just aren't ready to shoot. He's ready to shoot here. It seems simple, but it's not always something that happens where players are ready for that opportunity. And Cooper Flag, especially when he's got the ball in his hands, takes his defender to the baseline here. You might think, oh, he's going to go up with it, right? People kind of fall asleep. You always got to be ready for the pass. And in a situation like this, he's ready for the pass, gets it off over the defender, ready to shoot before the defender can get there. Is actually not a bad closeout because the defender was just a little bit late, but just a great shot. You know, his release is pretty high as well, and so he can get that off over players of similar size. And man, I really like Knueppel. I really think he's going to be a great off-ball role player. I am totally sold on him at this point. I think he makes a lot of sense in this kind of 6 to 5 range, right? Like I don't know if the upside's ever going to be like a star or superstar player, but when you think about how every team needs that wing shooter, complementary offensive player, think about guys like Bojan Bogdanovic throughout his career. He makes kind of a okay enough comparison. They're not exactly the same, but you guys know what I mean. I just think this is a smart and tough and talented player, and I'm totally sold on Kon Knueppel. And one more thing I wanted to mention, just a high floor, on this player. I think he's never going to be a superstar, probably. I could be wrong. I've only watched 2 minutes worth of highlights of him, but just the general theme, I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think his floor is super high. I think at minimum, he just makes a really good NBA shooter and off-ball, option offensively. So coming in at number 7, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder via Clippers, which is a terrifying thought of them having the 7th pick. Such a talented roster. We have Tre Johnson, who is a shooting guard from Texas. Now, from what I understand, just the very, very, almost nothing I know about this draft and this player, this is supposed to be one of the more exciting prospects, and so I'm excited to see his highlights and his description here. This looks like the McDonald's All-American game, but shooting guard from Texas. We've seen a lot of great players come out of Texas. Kevin Durant, PJ Tucker. So he's 6'6", 190, so a little bit of a slighter build here. Age 18, pro comparisons Cam Thomas. Wow, so he's got a bag, right? I'm assuming. And so he's probably a scorer. Scouts have already seen plenty of Tre Johnson, who's participated in almost every NBA-sanctioned camp, U.S. basketball, Philly Nationals, Big Three big high school all-star events. He's going to look like a pro scorer with advanced shot making and footwork or self-creation that goes into it. Johnson does rely on hitting tough jumpers, and it wouldn't be surprising if he entered the draft with low free throw and assist rates for a guard. Does sound a little bit like Cam Thomas, but he's still going to get plenty of NBA interest from teams that see translatable perimeter scoring and shooting. I already like what I'm reading. I mean, this is a player I really want to see the highlights for, because it appears he's just a guy with a total bag, right? And just a pure scorer, right? And so I want to see, what kind of skill set he's working with here. And so let's check out some Tre Johnson highlights from Texas. All right, so this is a 28-point performance here in the home opener for Texas. Let's get right into it, folks. Quality isn't great on this video. Full disclaimer, we're going to do it anyway. So I'm guessing this is him here, number 20, Tre Johnson. Good size. I mean, really good size for a 2-guard, right? 6'6". He really looks like a legit 6'6" to me. Nice shot. Wow. Okay, so you just totally ripped that ball from the offensive player here. Good rip. Good way to stay with the play here. Runs the break. Good pass. Okay. All right, let's check out this pick and roll operation here with the hopefully breakdown of a defender. Okay, so he gets doubled here on the hedge. He's got a decision to make here. He'll probably drive down this right kind of lane right here. Let's see. Okay, so he waits until, this is a good move here. He waits until the defender goes back to the center here, and so he gets to the one-on-one coverage that he was looking for. Breaks down this defender a little bit with a dribble, takes a nice little, elbow kind of pull up. Really confident. I'm already seeing from him a lot of confidence on this guy, and just a great pull up here. That is bag work for those Twitter heads out there. He's under the basket here. Gets the contact, didn't get the foul call, but makes the finish there. This guy's a scorer, man. He's got a lot of instant offense qualities I'm seeing so far. This is the type of guy you put in the game for a little bit, expect some, buckets to happen. He appears to be pretty quick as well. I don't know that he's necessarily the best athlete in this draft, just from what I've seen so far. I could be wrong. Doesn't look extremely explosive, but he's very quick here with the ball in his hands. He has got good on-ball speed. This is a shifty move around the defender. Good move, strong take. I like it. Off the inbounds here, he navigates well through, these screens here. Look at this. Look how nimble Smalley makes himself through these screens, just slips through it. Really good design play here. Gets the open, wide open shot, knocks it down. Again, confidence is a theme here. I'm seeing a lot from Tre Johnson here. All right, so he's got his head up, on this break. When you hear about Cam Thomas and, kind of the description there, didn't seem like this was necessarily the playmaker that is gonna, lead the team in assists, right? He seems like maybe a score first type of guy. I think that's fair to say. But, he does have his head up here, looking for teammates, decides there's nothing going on with his teammates here, and he finds himself wide open from the three-point line, which I don't know how that happens. That's just bad defense on on number 8 here, but he pulls up, quick decision, quick trigger, confidence, you know, hits the 3, nice play, another break. I mean, there's a lot of breaks in this game here. So he runs the break well, wide open 3 off the break. You know, they're sagging off him a little bit. Seems to be a really good shooter. That was a catch and shoot right there. I'd like to go back a little bit. He will shoot it without hesitation. He will shoot it off of catch and shoots, off of, you know, this opportunity that he just kind of fell into his lap. Let's see, like right here. Again, I apologize for the quality of this video. It's not great. You know, this is a very quick decision where, you know, he could either opt to find a little bit of a rhythm and pull up into something, but he just, you know, spots up, sees that the defender within a second, flash instant, right, isn't on the ball. And so he just takes the 3 and he also shoots it off the catch. And so that's what I like to see, because a lot of players with bags, and you see these players who are extremely gifted shot creators, they kind of need to work themselves into a rhythm on a lot of plays, and they won't take a lot of catch and shoot 3s. And we see that with guys like James Harden sometimes, and you know, they need to take a dribble or 2 first, and it kind of actually works as a negative to the team, because you could be wide open from the 3-point line, but if you need to step into your shot and create something, you know, every time you shoot the basketball, then that's just not really productive. You're going to end up taking a lot of contested shots, and unnecessarily, right? And so I like the idea of this player having extremely talented shot creation ability from the 2-guard position, just a pure bucket, but also being willing, and as we're seeing here, making 2 snap decision, you know, catch and shoot 3s and stuff like that. And so doesn't need to make a move. He just pulls up. Pure stroke as well. I like his shot. All right, so here he is off this block here off the post. He's going to go one-on-one back to the basket, probably take a post fadeaway, I would imagine. Okay, works his way into the middle of the floor. Squares his shoulders, hits the jump shot. I like this player. I really do. I think he's going to be a good scorer. Another fast break opportunity here. Makes a move, gets to the basket. You know, a lot of contact there. Finishes over the defender, kind of around the defender. Didn't really, you know, go into the contact necessarily, but uses his soft touch, was able to navigate around the defender there. This is going into contact, directly into it. He kind of, this is a, you know, silver acrobat badge from 2K, if you guys know what I mean, or slithery finisher, right? I mean, this is adjustment with the ball in his hands midair to kind of navigate around this defender. Finishes with his left. We haven't really seen him do that yet. And so good finish with the left hand here over the, you know, taller defender. Good display of finishing ability in traffic. Here's another catch and shoot. Okay, so this is the kind of thing I'm talking about, right? So he catches this ball, probably should just shoot this basketball, right? You know, it ended up working out. He's gonna make this 3 here, but this one goes in. But watch how he kind of skirts the defender here. It's a special type of play. I mean, no question, this is a good play, and I'm sure it's gonna work more often than not. And you know, this is a fast break at the end of the day, so it's not that big of a deal. But in, you know, the NBA, when you're playing with the big dogs and you have a half court set, you're not gonna get this much space all that much as a, you know, offensive weapon like he is. And so you got to shoot this shot in the NBA just right here. He takes a little sidestep triple, knocks it down, and again, he kind of skirts around that defender, which again, it ended up working here, but in the NBA, I think you're gonna have to take that 3. I like the player a lot. I think he has a lot of upside offensively. We saw him, you know, score off the dribble, off of the catch a few times, in transition, all the ways you can score. We saw 3-pointers, mid-range, and attacking the basket, finishing through contact. I mean, there's just a lot of fluidity and offensive upside for this player, and you know, they're saying they'd like to see the playmaking get better. You know, that's something that can come with time. We see a lot of scorers all the time come out of the draft as not necessarily great playmakers and turn into really serviceable ones, and so I think he totally could be. I mean, but he just has pure offensive talent, and I really like his upside, right, on scoring on all 3 levels, which you saw in this game here. So yeah, Tre Johnson makes a lot of sense at this number 7 range. Again, I'm saying all this stuff without knowing any of the people below him. I only know the people above him, right, the top 6, and you know, the fact that he would be 7, it does make a lot of sense. This is a good NBA caliber scorer. I think he'd come in day 1 and probably get you some buckets in the NBA. He just looks like that type of scorer to me, and so I love the bag that he has, and you know, the 3-level capabilities, right? Moving on to number 8, we have the Charlotte Hornets selecting Nolan Traore. Now this player, I believe, is supposed to be like a playmaker type of guy, a point guard, right? I've seen the name, and I know that he plays in France because, you know, there's just a French explosion right now going on in the NBA. Point guard out of France, 6'4", 184. Not sure the Hornets would be taking a point guard at number 8 if they had the 8th pick, but you know, I could be wrong. strong Lonzo Ball comparison. So I'm assuming defense and playmaking, right? And so that's kind of hopefully what we're going to see here. 18 years old, 6'4", 184. So a little bit of a slighter build to him, but that's not bad for a point guard. 10 games into Nolan Traore's season with St. Quentin, and mixed results continue to illuminate clear passing IQ, exactly what I expected, shot making touch, inconsistent shooting, and athletic limitations. So that's kind of a mixed bag, right? This is probably a prospect that's a little bit volatile, hard to predict where he would go in the draft, by the end of the season, and certainly hard to predict, what his potential and his career is going to look like at its best and at its worst. Those, type of players are hard to predict. It says, really good stuff about him, like the passing IQ and shot making touch, but, not so great things like inconsistent shooting and athletic limitations. So again, kind of a mixed bag. His feel in ball screen situations, which make up over 55% of his offense, is the main draw. So it appears he's a great pick and roll facilitator, which again, something every team needs all the time. He has excellent command, changing speeds, picking his spots to attack, manipulating the defense, and finding teammates. Yeah, I love these type of point guards. You have to be able to navigate pick and rolls exceptionally well. Command is a really good word to use. I think that's very important with a point guard prospect as a playmaker. He looks good pulling up and slowing down into floaters. So change of pace is something that's really taken over the NBA with guards, and it's been very, very important and crucial for newer guards to learn this skill. You think about guys like Luka Doncic, who has basically perfected the change of pace kind of thing when, like it says, pulling up and slowing down into floaters. Luka Doncic, you think about guys like Jalen Brunson, they're really, really good at this stuff. Important skill these days for a point guard. He's looked less confident in effective finishing around the basket where he doesn't get any explosion or power. Okay, so we've seen it so many times. We're just talking about guys like Jalen Brunson and Luka Doncic, not explosive athletes by any means, but they have such command over the floor with their playmaking and with their shot making touch, like it says here for Traore, that at its best, this prospect's ceiling, I don't think, you have to really be explosive as a point guard if you have all those skills. But again, we'll just have to see. He's still 18 years old. His point guard instincts, poise, and clear competence running a Pro A offense will hold a lot of weight, despite a jumper that's been on and off early improvement from last season. Traore's game doesn't scream star power, which could keep him from jumping ahead of the top NCAA freshmen, but his history, current production, and unteachable strengths paint the 18-year-old as a future NBA pro. So again, this seems like this player has a lot of skills that are extremely high upside and impressive, including the playmaking, as I mentioned, and the shot making touch, but it's a very mixed bag when considering the limitations athletically and the inconsistency. But again, he's only 18 years old. This is only, it appears a few games that they're judging from. There's no reason to think he can't moving forward, but I get if you're a, GM or a scout thinking, why take a guy like Nolan Traore, who might have really high upside as a ball handler, when I could take a guy like Kon Knueppel, who is a really high floor player, might not have the upside, but I kind of know what I'm getting with him, right? So this is a tough, choice to make at number 8. Let's check out the highlights and see if Bleacher Report is on the money. So I believe this is a game where, it's in a European league where he scored 20 points off of 8 of 16 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3, 30 minutes played, 10 assists, and 3 turnovers, and it said he hit clutch threes late in the win. So let's check this out here. Let's see what Nolan Traore's got going on with his game. Okay, so he's a pretty good sized point guard. I like his size. Oh, I didn't even see that pass. Oh my goodness. Great pocket pass. Wow, with the left hand off that pick and roll. Really, really good pocket pass. And another important trait for a point guard to have these days is the pick and roll pocket pass. And that was executed brilliantly. Big man finishes over the defender. Just a great setup from Traore for the assist. And let's see here. Looks like they're running the same play, but to the right. So now he's got a situation where the big man is switching. He left that defender back there. He can either pass this to the 3, the big man, or pull up himself. It appears he's going to pass it. Big man's kind of wide open for a dunk under here. So that's where the ball's going, right on the money. Good use of basketball IQ there, and navigating through the pick and roll to set up the teammate in a situation where you had a bunch of options. He made the right play. So this is a DHO dribble handoff here. Big man sets a screen. Wow, what a pass. Oh my goodness. So you're gonna watch this player here cut baseline, a little bit of a backdoor cut, and finds a wide open teammate. He just gets that pass off in a hurry. He sure does. Watch this. Boom. Bounce pass looked really good out of his hands there. I'm very impressed with the pick and roll operating. I mean, this is something they talked about, which is excellent, right? He's so far that I've seen maybe the best pick and roll ball handler in this draft, no question, right? I mean, excellent playmaking and basketball IQ upside. That's a great pass. I mean, he had the option for a floater here. Navigates draw. This is a drive and draw, really, not necessarily a kick. He lobs it over. This is a high IQ pass. This is a creative type of pass. I thought he was going up for this kind of floater here off the backboard. Ends up seeing a mismatch on the big man. Good position from the big man. Honestly, could have went to the corner here with this player, with the help defender. It's just a great pass. That's a really smart pass that not a lot of point guards would even think to make. Particularly the way he did it, right? And so here's another pick and roll here. Top of the key. Good handles. What I like about his handles so far is that there's no extra kind of unneeded, unnecessary movement to it. It's straight to the point, it's quick, it's decisive, and it's effective, right? There's no fancy extra moves going on here. He gets to where he needs to, and it might not be flashy, but it's just effective, right? And so watch this. Off the pick and roll, big man steps out here. They're going to switch. It's actually kind of a double here. Kind of leaves the center. He probably could have lobbed this to the center, but he decides to cross back left and then go right, breaks the defender down. Again, this is a very tight handle, but it's not necessarily flashy or over the top. It's just, there's no extra stuff to it. I think that's really good. That's a nice high arc on his jump shot there. Looked really soft, right? Rises up over the defender. Might not have explosive kind of leaping ability to him to get these shots off, but he does have good size and soft touch. We see all the time players without explosiveness be able to get their shots off, whether they make them or not. But, a good example, I just made a video about Jared McCain for my Sixers, and he's another player, not explosive as an athlete. He's not a bad athlete, I wouldn't say, but not explosive, smaller, right? But he uses his tight handles and his efficient dribbling to get to where he needs to and create those shots over bigger defenders without really any explosiveness off the floor, and it uses his soft touch and skill to put them in, right? And so this is an example of that here. So he's gonna operate pick and roll here, find the off-ball player here. This player makes a good move. Wow, that's a good pass, man. He gets in, penetrates the paint. Not really much help here on. There's a lot of open space here, and so he finds and locates that space and attacks it. These defenders collapse on him, and now he's got options. He finds this open shooter here with a great, understanding of where his teammates are. This guy makes one move, pulls up, hits the jump shot. Just a smart IQ play that you see a lot of point guards in the NBA make, especially good playmakers, will penetrate the paint without even really thinking about, scoring over, the two big men in the paint, right? But they're looking to kick it out, right? You think about TJ McConnell, always gets underneath the basket here, almost underneath the basket, looking to distribute, and I like that out of Traore here. Moves well off the ball, uses the big man's body here off of this off-ball screen, attacks the space here, goes back around the screen. He's probably going to pull up. Yep. And that's a nice navigation of using your big man's body, find a little bit of open space, and he pulls up. That shot looked good to me, and the handles are really good, right? So let's see here, another pick and roll. Really good pick and roll ball handler, playmaker. Another lob pass to the big man. It wasn't exactly like an NBA lob where you'd see this guy rise up and throw it down like DeAndre Jordan or something, but he sees, he just reads the game, right? He sees all this help, and another situation where the big man steps up to Traore for some reason, and he's got a wide open cutter and center in the middle of the paint, and he could have squeezed in a little bit of a pocket pass through this gap right here, but it closes in a hurry and probably not a great move. So he finds the open space, which is right around the basket, and sets up his teammate with a really nice look. He also could have jumped over this defender and threw a bullet pass, but this guy's a lot taller than him. He appears to be on the way up, and so just a nice utilization of a lob pass here. And this guy can either finish at the rim or kick it out to this corner, which in the NBA you might see a center kick it out to the corner, but maybe not in the Euro League. Just puts it where only the center can get it. Man, he is excellent in these pick and rolls. I mean, really good stuff here, high IQ stuff. Again, command, right? He never looks rushed or panicked. He plays at his own pace. He plays at, the pace that the defense is giving him, reads the game, and, they talked about poise and command. This is really showing through in these highlights here, and so I'm very impressed. So this is on a fast break here. He's trailing right here on the fast break. That's a really smart play. Let's see, he's going to finish. around the defender, little scoop and score for Traore, way to run the break. But yeah, you know, in the NBA, he is going to be a little bit small and slight to do those kind of finishes. He's going to have to really go up aggressively or, you know, kick out to someone else. I don't think he's going to be a great finisher in the NBA. We'll see. That's a pretty good, you know, hezzy first step here. You know, it's not explosive, but he just, you know, creates enough space to get to where he wants to right here, which is the rim. And that's a nice finish. You know, again, people that aren't explosive, they have to use the very, very little space that they're given, which you see right here. The space, you know, between the rim, Traore, and this big man guarding him. And, you know, again, this is not much space. This guy's a long player. You know, actually moves his feet pretty well, but, you know, Traore just uses his body as a shield and the backboard as well, and, you know, makes a nice finish. Okay, so he's cutting off the ball here. Another screen, this time on the wing. Drives baseline. He could do a floater here. Nice pull up. I like it. Probably the right call, right? Again, you know, this is soft touch I'm seeing from his jumpers, and he knows when to pull up and when to pass. This was a good spot to pull up. So here they're running the classic floppy from NBA 2K. If you guys play that, classic off ball into a shooter. Crisp pass from Traore here, not lazy, nothing. Pick and roll here. He can either pull up for this three. This guy's going over the screen, but didn't navigate it really well. And, you know, he can step up and contest the shot, but then you leave the big man open. Let's see what happens. Okay, so he understood that this guy was, you know, the big was not in position to find the big and, you know, intercept that pass or really be anywhere near it. And his defender, number 5 here, was basically out of the play because of how he went over that screen. And that's just a really quick, you know, high IQ pass right here. I mean, a lot of players would have pulled up, you know, he has the space, right? But he understands this before it even happens, and he knew what he was doing, and it makes a soft pass where only he can catch it. Big finishes around, you know, the defender, you know, the command and the poise. You know, this is really starting to show for me. So here's 4:10 on the clock. This is a close game between Nancy and San Quentin. So this time it's the same play, right? And a good call by the coach to go back to it, but this is the same play as last time, but this time he pulls up. This is a great use of, you know, defender expecting you to do the same thing, and this time you do what, you know, you saw before, that they gave you that space to shoot and you didn't take it. It ended up working out because you made the right play, you know, with the pass, but they probably think you're going to do that again. So let's see if they defend it any differently, right? So he probably should have went under that screen. Same exact situation. He can make the same exact play that he did before, but this time he decides to pull up because he saw the space they gave him, and you know, that's a really big shot in that situation. I mean, he puts them up a lot. Now it's 97-89. He could probably ice it here with 2:45, and so he makes a quick little dribble here. This defender is going to set the screen. He probably should pull up. Yep, good awareness, man, and good confidence, right? And so, you know, they're saying he's a little bit inconsistent as a shooter, but it's important that you show confidence even through that inconsistency when you're not shooting well. It appeared he did shoot well this night in particular, but, you know, he did not hesitate. That's just a big shot in a big situation, you know, in a big game. And so I'm really impressed by his decision making. It's next level, you know, easily the best playmaker I've seen so far in this draft. And we have guys like Dylan Harper, who I think is probably going to be a really good playmaker, but most of the players we've seen so far are very, you know, scoring focused, and Traore is the exception. I mean, no question, he is going to be probably, I can't imagine there's a much better pick and roll ball handler in this draft. We'll have to see, but I am the playmaking is insanely good. Really smart kid. Good floater. I mean, he's, again, this is a situation, man. You know, the game's basically over at this point. This appears to be garbage time, but watch this, right? You know, leaves these two defenders behind. Nice use of downhill attacking. And then, you know, this is the play where you'd say, this help defender is really who he's reading here. I mean, these guys are pretty much out of the play if you put him in jail like he is. Using that offhand to keep them, you know where they are and keep them kind of behind him. And use of the low dribbles as well. And then, you know, he could really either just kind of take one more dribble, read this defender quickly, see if he's going to step up to the big or him, and then make the play. He actually kind of freezes the defender because the defender didn't really do much at all. But he kind of, I guess, went towards Traore, but he ends up going up for the shot. Nice little floater here. It was actually, now that I'm seeing it again, there was very little time on the shot clock, so he kind of had to go up for that shot. and ended up going in, but he probably would have passed that to the big given more time. What a great performance from Traore there. I'm so impressed. The ball handling skills that he displayed there are excellent. Soft touch on his jump shot, I thought it could be inconsistent, but again, those are things that can be ironed out through more reps, right? And more basketball, right? He's only 18 years old and he's doing this against pros. And so I could not be more enamored with the skill set, playmaking wise. Excellent pick and roll ball handler. I really think this guy should go in the lottery. If not 8, then somewhere close, because you just don't see playmakers like this often. It's a special type of IQ, in my opinion. Love Nolan Traore. He's got to answer some of those questions about athletic limitations, what that might look like in the NBA. He needs more, I guess, games until they can judge that. The inconsistent shooting, if he gets that sorted out, I mean, there's no question this guy is a top 8 pick, undoubtedly, right? He has to be. This is also a player that could be drafted based on fit, right? I actually don't think it's a great fit for the Hornets, who have a good guard situation, right? You have your point guards, Tre Mann and LaMelo Ball. Doesn't make a lot of sense for them, I don't think. But, you know, a team like, you know, the Thunder wouldn't make sense either, because they just drafted Nikola Topic, who actually is kind of similar. Pacers, not really looking for a playmaker at this point. And so the fit's going to be really important for this, but, you know, he's just going to make an excellent backup point guard day one, in my opinion, if he can knock down a 3 somewhere around a league average rate. So I just want to note one thing. You know, I'm already seeing the depth in this draft class. There's a ton of talent back end of the top 10. And so, you know, I'm really getting this now of how deep this class is. And, you know, we're going to have at number 9, the Indiana Pacers, maybe selecting Asa Newell or Newell. That's probably Newell, or it could be Asa. We'll have to see what the pronunciation is. I see him in a USA uniform. Pro comparison, Jalen Smith. So he's a big man, right? Out of Georgia. 6'11", 220. That's a big man right there. No pun intended. 19 years old. 6'11" with a live motor. Wow, okay. So Jalen Smith is an interesting one. It appears he's going to be able to shoot the 3 and block shots. Asa Newell should deliver immediate activity around the rim, easy baskets and putbacks to Georgia. But his developing 3-point stroke and post skill are what will push him up the draft boards in 2025. He shot over 41% from 3 during 21 Montverde games logged by Synergy Sports. There should be plenty of NBA interest in an athletic 19-year-old energy big who can stretch the floor this early in his career. This is a great skill set. This is just a really good skill set for a modern big. I love the description here. Again, another guy that, you know, this is a type of guy that no matter who a team has picking in this area, they're going to select a player like this because it seems surefire. And, like, you know, at the end of the day, if he's a backup 5 with this skill set and it translates, you know, you're pretty happy, right, at 9th overall. If you're the Pacers, who, you know, just lost James Wiseman at the time of recording this to an Achilles injury. And so, you know, a guy that can shoot the 3, that's athletic with a high motor, put him in the game in short bursts as a backup 5 or potentially a starting 5, you know, around 20 minutes per game or so, 18 to 20. This is the type of guy that every team, you know, hopes to get, especially with that 3-point shot. So let's check out some Georgia highlights from Asa Newell. You know, I really like the skill set though. I'm going to like this player a lot, I feel. All right, so this appears to be a really, really good game here for his freshman debut. Ties Georgia record in freshman debut, 26 points and 11 rebounds. I'm excited to watch this kid play. I think I'm going to like him a lot based on the skill set they talk about in the BR article. And so here he is down here. This is a big guy. This is a really big kid. Okay, so this is a good drop step here. You know, gets early position before we can even see the highlight. He's in just really good position, you know, down low in the paint there. And so he's going to take his defender one-on-one with this matchup. Quick move, quick drop step. And he's going to use that, you know, big body to finish, keep the defender behind him. Really good display of footwork there, and just a good drop step. And so here he is down here. Another, before we even get into it, both highlights so far, he's already in deep position. This is something that you're going to have to fight for in the NBA. And, you know, this defender appears to be fighting him already. But before we can even see the highlights, you know, this is a sign of good motor and lively activity because he's already in this deep position here. And so this is going to probably be an offensive rebound. Oh, good dish from the handler there. Watch this. So he goes in the air, you know, maybe attempting to shoot, sees at the last second. He's wide open. Another just easy finish. Good dunk there. Way to get off the floor. Okay, so here's a defensive fast break here. Nice strong take. Switches hands left to right, you know, mid dribble. Just a great finish there. Great play. Another deep position here. Weak side offensive rebound. Nice play. And he's going to, wow, okay, so he's going to use that pivot. Good footwork there. He could pass this, but high motor, good footwork, post skills, you know, shooting touch, just soft touch in general. High effort around the basket. We saw that weak side rebound over 2 defenders there. And so this is a good player. I think he could make a really good backup 5. Let's see here. Good screen. Gets out there quick, man. He moves well for his size and space. I think he's pretty nimble. So watch this, right? Gets the quick screen. Ball handler, great pocket pass from the ball handler here, number 1. Catch this. He's going to take one dribble, go up. Man, this kid is really impressing me. Rebound, just, they need to block out Tennessee Tech. They're not even in rebounding position here. Find a body, man, but holy cow. It's a way to stay with the play, not sleep on it. Even though they're giving him the position, he's taking it, right? You have to give him credit there for, staying on the glass. And here he is down here on the, kind of left block here. And so he's going to make a backdoor cut. Tennessee Tech decides to double this guy, and just a easy finish for him. Reads the play well, understands where he's supposed to be. He's a lively big though, man. I gotta say that. And so here's a lob. That's a good finish. He got up pretty quick. Strong rebound there. Offensive rebound. Just, man, he is lively under there. He is active. He's going to keep the opposing bigs busy and, potentially in foul trouble with that activity. And so those are the types of big you like to take off the bench or, play in short bursts. Like I said, high motor, high intensity, under the basket, interior presence. Man, like, look how he just never takes his eye off of that glass. And you could see some, lackadaisical effort here from, all 3 of these guys, just watching him, get into the lane and take this. But at the end of the day, man, he's doing it. And so you have to give him credit. Jump shot or a floater. Nice little floater. You're seeing a lot of big men do that nowadays. Little push shot, kind of floater-ish kind of thing. From around, just outside, from this kind of area, 8 feet, around 7 feet from the basket. That's a good skill to have as a big, to be able to, do that little push shot. When you get this open space in the middle of the floor, you don't need to take a jump shot. You don't necessarily want to drive it because that's where all the defenders are. And if nobody's open, you just take that push shot. And, that's a nice soft touch. I want to see it one more time. Nice, decisive, high arc on it. Soft touch, right? Let's watch him defensively here. Reads the play well, reading the lane. Watch him on the break here. Good steal. Okay, that's a pretty good, he got up there. That's a nice one-handed jam. He's a pretty good athlete, but man, am I impressed so far. I just love his motor and his, look at this. He celebrates for a second, gets right back into the play, getting down the floor. He doesn't want his man to beat him. I think this kid is a lock for back end of the lottery, no question. I mean, how can you pass on a player like this if you were a team like Indiana, who's actually a contender? Realistically, I don't think they're going to be 8th overall in the draft, no question. But this is probably going to be a block, but on the help defense here. But this is a player that it's not necessarily a fit thing, right? Like, you could have a really good backup 5. Someone like Minnesota wouldn't take him, right? But I would say the vast majority of teams picking in the lottery are going to be able to use a player like this, in a big way. And so that's a great block, man. That's just a great play. Off of the help defense here, sees the ball handler coming over, beats his man, and he is the last line of defense here. And he actually comes from behind a little bit to get this with his left hand, gets up there in a hurry, locates the basketball. Just a great block. That's a great play. Stays with it. He just always stays with the play. And we talked about this with Kon Knueppel, how he, when you're an off-ball player and you're not necessarily a focal point of the offense, plays aren't going to be drawn up for you, and maybe for Knueppel as a shooter, but not for a player like this. While his post game is pretty good, I just don't think they're going to be going to him, so many touches per game, right? Only if there's a matchup or you got good position, right? And so, he's going to have to find a way to get his hands on the basketball and make plays offensively. And he's just always around the basket, looking for those rebounds. And so, he's going to be a really good offensive rebounder in the NBA, I think. I mean, he just follows the shots exceptionally well. I mean, 26 and 11. I just love his motor. I love his effort. I love his hustle. At the end of the day, he's got the size, he's got the offensive touch, the footwork, which is really important. And so, I've seen enough to be able to say this is easily a lottery pick. I mean, in most drafts, we saw that block, which is a really nice play defensively. We saw him get out on the break a couple couple times and, you know, finish in transition. I mean, I keep saying this, but tell me there aren't 20 teams in the NBA who would take a guy like this late in the lottery. I mean, there's just, you know, so many teams that need a player like this. You're always looking for high energy, high activity bigs under the basket, and you add, you know, soft touch and potentially 3-point shooting to that. There's no reason he shouldn't be, you know, either top 10 or, you know, a lottery pick, right? I really like this player, Asa Newell. So, you know, this will round out our video here with the 10th overall player, Boogie Fland. Okay, interesting name. It's kind of a cool name. Washington Wizards, right? Let's see what he is all about. Another point guard here. So there's a lot of point guards in this draft, and this is a very deep top 10. Like, you know, if you're getting any of these players in the top 10, I think you feel really good about it this year. You know, Washington Wizards, let's see, point guard, Arkansas, 6'2", 175. So a smaller guard. Wow, Darius Garland comparison. He's going to have to be, you know, really crafty and quick, and, you know, we'll see what his skill set looks like. But 6'2", 175, very similar to what you saw from like Rob Dillingham. Maybe not quite as small as Rob Dillingham, but, you know, I'm expecting similar things as a player. So Boogie Fland, kind of an interesting profile here. Let's read it. It quickly feels easier to buy the idea that scouts will look past Boogie Fland's physical flaws after the 6'2", 175-pound guard opened with 22 points, 5 assists, 6 steals in an exhibition against Kansas. Pretty impressive. 6 steals is crazy. Quick and shifty, right? DG comparisons, player this size, top 10 makes a lot of sense that he'd be quick and shifty. He got to his spots and made dribble jumpers with persuasive confidence and fluidity. You'll love to see that. So already we're seeing a lot of Darius Garland, kind of Dillingham kind of stuff here from the profile, which I love. I'm really excited to see this guy's highlights. Maybe we'll check out that game. He didn't showcase any flashy playmaking or passes, but made basic reads and pick and rolls to get shooters rhythm looks. Listen, he doesn't need, not every, you know, point guard or, you know, ball handler needs to make flashy passes, right? If you can just get the ball to the open guy, I mean, it doesn't really matter how you do it at the end of the day. You know, not everybody needs to be Luka Doncic or Kyrie Irving or Tyrese Halliburton to be a solid playmaker, right? And so, especially with the scoring prowess that it appears he has, as long as you can get the ball to the players off of the pick and roll, I mean, you're going to be just fine. Defensively, he was pesky, pressuring the ball and getting his hands into lane. So, you know, you're seeing this from a lot of smaller guards these days, is taking a big initiative to be a pesky on-ball defender. We've seen it with guys like Emmanuel Quickly. We've seen it with Fred VanVleet for his whole career. You know, it's just really important when you're this small of a player to be able to, you know, do that consistently, because at the end of the day, if you're a guard this small and you're not a great playmaker like a Darius Garland, you know, and not even good, just if you're not a great playmaker and you're primarily a scorer, you gotta do something else. And so on ball, pesky defense, TJ McConnell, another example, right? He's not a great scorer, he's a great playmaker, but, you know, he uses that defensive peskiness on the ball to rip ball handlers, get in lanes, right? And just be a pest, right? And so I really do like this, you know, profile I'm reading. I love the skill set so far. The presences of DJ Wagner and John L. Davis, probably, you know, Arkansas prospects. Maybe we'll see later in the list. I don't know, you know, if they're going to go in the draft, but I guess we'll see. Shouldn't mask Fland's potential or keep the 18-year-old from providing creation, shot making, and defensive activity. I love Boogie Fland's skill set, and I'm excited. These are the types of plays you always, you know, love to watch the highlights. I love watching every player's highlights and learning. I'm just a basketball nut. Like, I love learning stuff, but, you know, when you get to see a guard, a shot creation type of player like this with defensive upside, this is what really gets me going for the highlights. And so I can't wait to see this. Perfect way to round out the list, right? In the video. So let's check out Boogie Fland's Arkansas, hopefully debut. We'll check it out, and I'm excited to see this. All right, so unfortunately, you know, the debut game, I couldn't find just Boogie Fland highlights. They're talking about DJ Wagner here in this, and we will watch this video. I'll try to cut around the parts and not react to the parts with, you know, the DJ Wagner portions, because I would imagine we're going to see DJ Wagner later in this series, and I don't want to spoil it too much for myself, so I'll try to, you know, navigate around that as best I can. But, you know, this is Boogie Fland's debut against, which I already saw, Kansas, which was the #1 team in the country and ranked team going into this game. And so to have a performance like this against the #1 team in the country is very impressive, especially in college. These, you know, rivalries get super heated and feel like kind of playoff atmospheres. And so to have this performance against the #1 team is pretty impressive. Let's see Boogie Fland's highlights against #1 ranked Kansas in his debut. So he looks really cool. I like the accessories he has. He's got swag to him. Wow, quick, shifty ball handler there. That's a good read, like they were saying, you know, nothing too crazy operating the pick and roll. But at the end of the day, this was just a good read to find the open shooter in the corner right here. He's got an opportunity to maybe rise up for a midi or a floater, but, you know, decides to kick it out to this shooter, number 21. and makes a three. It's a good read. Yeah, I like it. But he is quick and explosive, you know, just from this highlight here. Okay, so he's off the ball right here. I'm not sure if this can be his highlight or Wagner's highlight. Okay, so here he is off the DHO. Didn't complete the DHO very perfectly. That's kind of a both of them right here doing that, but makes the cut to the basket, keeps the defender on his toes, and ends up, you know, blowing by him because he's so quick. And let's see this finish here. Wow, okay, so go fearless, you know, going right into the contact. I love those kind of players as a Sixers fan. Tyrese Maxey, Allen Iverson come to mind. Ja Morant is a good example of this. And so I'm already seeing the Darius Garland comp, you know, kind of pay off here. It really makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, so he's pick and roll, good read. Again, he didn't, you know, jump and throw it over the defender's head, right? Which probably, if he executed it well, you know, watch this right here. So a lot of point guards, you'd see excellent playmakers, Luka Doncic, guys like that. They would kind of jump and keep their momentum going this way around where my mouse is and throw it, you know, backwards towards this guy to get the ball a little bit quicker to him and a little bit more unpredictably. It's harder to kind of shoot passing lanes when you do stuff like that. But he stops and he makes the right read. I mean, at the end of the day, that's all you can really ask for. And I think, you know, this player's going to knock it down. I think this might be Wagner, but we're not going to pay too much attention to that just yet. That was a deep three right there, NBA range to it, and just the right read. I mean, you know, nothing else to really add to that. Okay, so here he goes here. Man, that's creative, and that is excellent. Excellent. Watch this. So right off the dribble, he's already attacking, right? Defender goes over the screen, and so he's going to put him in jail right here, but he actually gets back into position, and he just blows by him. I mean, he does a little head fake, right? Watch this. He goes up with a nice little pump fake, head fake right there, really quickly, very subtly. Looks like he might be passing it, and so the defender jumps, leaves his feet, blows by him. Now he can either choose to go up and draw the foul, which he 100% would, or he can stop full momentum on the dime like he does, which is more creative in my opinion, and knock down the wide open mid-range shot off of 1 foot. The lefty, kind of Dirk Nowitzki knee up shot. That's a great shot. That's just a special type of play right there. You know, this is the type of stuff that will get you taken in the first round with that, you know, build to you, right? 6'2", 185 or 175. I mean, you know, you got to be doing stuff like this or you're not going to be in consideration. I'm starting to see why such a smaller player, with rare you see players, you know, even think to do something like that, let alone execute it, look natural and effortless to him. Super fluid. Defensively, wow, that's way to read that. I mean, he read that before the guy who was catching it in the corner did, the corner shooter. And let's watch this really quick. So he's reading this play right now, and he thinks, and everyone thinks this is a DHO probably. Big keeps it, going to the corner with it, and he already knows. Look, his head's turned towards the corner here. And so the big man's either passing it to this guy or this guy. He's just going to shoot that lane, right? And it's just so explosive. The movement is so quick that he just gets around this guy. Got a Tom Brady ad here. What a play. I mean, that was, you know, he could have just, I don't know if he can dunk, but he could have just simply, you know, intercept that pass. So here he is with some open space here. This big on the roll looks like he's slipping right now, but he could, yep, okay. Okay, so now he's successfully put his defender in jail once again. I mean, he's done that 3 times already. So let's see what he does here. Looks like it could be a lob. I mean, this guy looks athletic here, so. Nope. Man, that's a nice play. I mean, again, pretty creative. He just finds the open space right here. The off-ball, probably wing, takes the defender out of Fland's vicinity, and by his off-ball movement, which was smart, because this guy would have stopped him basically from, you know, finding this space and hitting that shot. And what this defender does is make sure he can't do that. He's got to close out. Actually, Boogie Fland fakes the pass, and that's what created that situation. And now he's got open space around this yellow Walmart thing here. And he finds it and just executes the little, you know, runner, little right-hand floater. Nice soft touch, looked effortless, fluid, and he's just going to be a bucket in the league. I can already tell. He's awesome. Awesome player. This might be one of my favorites. All right, so here's Boogie Fland defensively. Let's check this out. Man, he is... That is pesty stuff right there, man. That is really pesty stuff. That's like Patrick Beverley stuff right there, right? Like, watch how he just denies the off-ball player. Just good ball denial here. Stays with him, uses that quickness and short distance speed. Just closes out on this basketball. Careless pass by the big here. He's really, you got to either put this ball to his left hand or kind of wait a little, maybe one more step until he gets around him. But way to put your hands on the basketball, and yeah, that's off his knee. So that's a great play. He had 6 steals in this game. I mean, that's unreal. So he's just reading this the whole play, right? Big man comes up. He's going to this guy. He's going to duck out, run to the corner, and this guy's going to get a one-on-one. It's just a great way to get your hand on the basketball. And now you're in a situation where if you can slide around him, which he's so quick and nimble, and a foul. Finishes left, takes it left the whole way. Man, the way he kind of moved the basketball a little up and under so quickly. I mean, it was within a blink of an eye. You could have missed it. He's just so good. I mean, he's the real deal. I mean, a lot of times you see these guys 6'2", 175, and you think, oh, he's just a scorer, nothing special. The league doesn't really favor smaller guys that just can score nowadays, but he is a special type of player, Boogie. NBA career for him, because he's fun to watch. He is fun to watch. He just said it. Fearless. He's absolutely fearless. I love it. Knocks down the free throw there. All right, so here he is. I want to see him create great cut. I mean, he's just going to win that every time. I mean, you really got to be in position on a cut from Boogie Fland, on a dive like this, or a pass from the big. Calipari loving it. Look how quick that first step is. I mean, it's unreal. First of all, how did he even get that shot up? It didn't go in, obviously, but great strength to be able to get that shot off. But man, the way he's a blur going downhill. I mean, watch this. Lefty too. Drives left. This player and this player aren't even aware that he's going downhill, especially the big. I mean, he's just, right now he's figuring out that he's downhill. And now he has to either foul. Yeah, I mean, 11 fouls him, but probably because 24 wasn't in the play. But I mean, it's just so quick that you have to always be on your toes when he's on the floor. He's dangerous. All right, so let's see some on-ball defense here. Disrupts the ball to make him make that incredibly difficult shot, but you can't keep moving your feet and also be in position, and you just have to keep moving your feet because he's so quick, right? So they're using him a lot off the ball. Like they're putting him in situations where he's flying around off of the ball and catching the ball, and he's going to make a couple dribbles and either look to score or pass, make the good read, which he has done several times. But it's not a lot of one-on-one breaking down ISO kind of stuff, which I'm actually curious to see if he can do really well. But so far it's not been a lot of that, other than getting to the basket. But he doesn't really need to do that. But I mean, like, that's a great pull-up. Great confidence, just squares his shoulders really well. Really gets off the floor on those jump shots, which is a good trait to have when you're a smaller guard, right? Gets downhill. I mean, he could either take this to the basket, defender kind of shields him off. Maybe you'd like to see him find this open space a little bit more, but at the end of the day, he made the shot. You can't really complain. So here he is in a pick and roll. Yep, just defender goes under the screen here. Shouldn't have done that. Man, I love this player. I love Boogie Fland. I'm a huge fan. I mean, he's going to be one of my favorite prospects. I can already tell. Another lazy pass from 24 here. He had a rough one, but yeah, I mean, okay, so from right around the restricted circle, but when you're a smaller player like this, I mean, the restricted circle probably is like the free throw line. Probably got his teammates pretty fired up. Another steal here, I'm guessing. That's a push off. That's a good way to stay in front of the ball handler. I mean, really good use of lateral quickness and just slides his feet well. Stays in front of his man, which he's going to be able to do a lot. It's just about whether he's big enough to defend certain players, but he's going to be able to stick with anyone with his shiftiness, right? His defense. So here's Boogie again. Operates the pick and roll well. This is a draw and probably kick. Yep. Really good read. Situation where defender doubles you off that, helps a little too much off this pick and roll. This guy doesn't need to be there. I mean, he's protecting the rim like he's thinking Boogie's going to go downhill, and I get it. You got to get out there. I mean, it's just a great draw and kick right there. Again, it wasn't flashy, but it was the right play, and it was a smart, nice assist. I really like Boogie Fland. I'm a huge fan now. I'm sold. I'm on the train. Boogie Fland, 10th overall prospect. If he was any bigger, if he was 6'4", let's say 190, he'd be probably a lot higher in this draft. But this guy is special, and I just think he's going to be a really good NBA player, whether that's a 6-man instant offense type of scorer, whether that's a creator in a starting lineup, whether it's a lead ball handling role. I don't know exactly, but he's going to make a good NBA player, no question about it. And, you know, Washington would be lucky to have him, even though they just got Bub Carrington. So I don't know that that's a great fit, but anyway, that's the end of the video, man. I really enjoyed learning about these players with you guys. Once again, it's going to be 30 likes for part 3, same as last time. I know you guys can do it. I definitely want to keep this series going. So as soon as you hit 30 likes, I'm going to record the next one, get it out as soon as I can, right? That's my goal. Again, these are just highlights and little blips of information from Bleacher Report, but I just love learning this stuff. I feel like by the end of the season, if we get all of these, at least first round players done that we need to cover, like I'm going to know so much come draft time that I could even make my own mock draft video by the time the playoffs are over. So please leave a like. You could be 1/30th of, you know, the series staying alive. And so please do that if you can. It's just a lot of fun sharing and learning with you guys. So hopefully guys, you know, enjoyed the video. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see part 3. You know, if you want to see the series continue, you know, turn on notifications so that you don't miss any uploads. Check out my other videos. We cover NBA stuff almost every day on the channel. And so, you know, I have plenty of catalog to check through if you guys haven't already. If you guys want to see more like it, just please subscribe. That's, you know, we're on the road to 15K, and I'd love to have you a part of D-Habe Nation, which is our community. Other than that, hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day today, and I can't wait to see your reaction to this video. This is a really fun series for me so far, so I'm hoping we can continue it. I will say, out of this group, probably Boogie Fland's going to be my favorite. I mean, I like all of them a lot, and I think they're all going to be good players. I like Kon Knueppel a lot. I get why all these players are ranked where they are. They're all really impressive, and I'm starting to kind of get the picture here of why this draft is so sought after, right? Like why teams are really looking to tank this season, why, you know, everybody's saying this is the draft, right? Last season was a little bit of a subpar draft, even though there are some good players here and there. Jared McCain's one of them for my Sixers, who I've been so hyped about, but, you know, at the end of the day, I could not be more impressed with every player we've seen so far. I mean, legitimately, I'm being real. And so, you know, who knows, even maybe one of these players could end up on my Sixers next year. Hopefully we're not this bad, but, you know, maybe one of them will, and I'll be able to, you know what to expect going into their career with my team. So at the end of the day, I'm just excited to make more content for you guys, and hopefully you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, week, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I will see you guys in hopefully part 3 or the next video on the channel. But if you get 30 likes like within the day or within maybe a day and a half, like I don't know, 36 hours or so, the next video will be part 3. I mean, no question. So it all depends on how fast you get the 30 like goal, but either way, like, comment, subscribe. Shout out to Bleacher Report. The link to this list will be in this mock draft will be in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself. You can read it with me, learn it with me, or just on your own, wherever you want to do with it. But I will leave the link to that below, and I will see you guys in the next one. This has been reacting to the 2025 NBA draft class part 2, prospects 6 through 10. This is your boy D-Habe, and as always, peace.